What if I told you that there's a trick that makes it impossible to procrastinate on writing your screenplay? Well, in this video, I'm gonna show you the method I implemented that stopped me from procrastinating on my writing, how it will make your entire day more productive, and how it actually makes writing fun. Before writing became a normal part of my routine, I had to understand the concept of brain points. These are the key to being able to beat your procrastination. Imagine that throughout the day, there's a scoreboard keeping track of your willpower. Whenever you do something, you lose points. It's just not consistent. For instance, while getting a glass of water might only use 1 brain point, reading a book might use 5 or 6. Let's say you start each day with 100 brain points. Everything you need to do between driving to work, sitting through meetings, going to the gym. How many brain points do you think you're gonna have once you get back home? Like 30? Maybe 40? Writing your screenplay is gonna be the last thing you wanna do. You're gonna wanna go relax and do something that actually lets you conserve the brain points you still have left. Not only that, but even if you did write, it would probably be a lot less efficient. You've already used up all your highest quality brain points, so now you're just scraping at the bottom of the barrel. Any writing you do will not be to the best of your ability. Now imagine being able to write at your highest creative capacity every single day while still getting all your work done and still finding time to write. Sounds impossible, right? The key to this method is that it gives you a much higher likelihood of dropping straight into a flow state. If you're unfamiliar with the flow state, I'll summarize very quickly. I apologize in advance for this analogy. I don't know why, it was just the best thing I could think of. Picture yourself driving straight into oncoming traffic. Every single second, you have to use more effort than you've ever used before when it comes to driving. And if you make one tiny mistake, you're probably gonna die. I said I'm sorry, okay? But finally, you turn around and you actually start driving in the right direction. Now, driving is effortless for you. You don't need to think about it. You're just subconsciously utilizing all the skills you've learned from all your previous years of experience with driving. This is what being in a flow state feels like. It's effortless effort. You lose all sense of self, and it's like you become the thing you're working on. You become the screenplay. Words just come out of you so easily that you almost feel like you can't stop. There isn't a single thought, noise, or notification that can pull you away. So now that you're aware of the flow state, let's talk about what this method actually is. It's actually a method a very prolific writer would implement into his day. Now, you might have heard of him, but his name rhymes with Burnwest Deming Day. Wow, that was clever. Because of this method, he was free from disturbances, and it made it a lot easier for him to focus. The first thing he would do in his day was write. Is it really that simple? Write first thing in the morning? Well, no, actually, not quite. Before I get in how to use this method, what's more important is actually what you do the night before. Otherwise, writing when you wake up will not help you write any better. One day, I'm sitting at my desk brainstorming for my screenplay, and I'm almost finished, but there's just this one gaping plot hole that I can't figure out for the life of me. Maybe it's just because I'm stupid. I don't know. I don't know what to do. Basically, one of the characters beats up another character, only I have no idea why. I have the actual fight and everything up to it and after, but for the life of me, I can't figure out what does this character do that's so bad that this other character beats him up. And now I'm just kind of staring at the page for a bit, hoping the answers will magically float into my brain. And finally, I just give up and go to bed. I'm not even kidding. The next time I look at my screenplay, I figure it out immediately, or at least it feels immediate. But I came into the solution in what felt like such a way that I literally said to myself, wow, that was obvious. How did I not think of that sooner? Are you stupid? The first thing you need to do is set writing goals the night before. You can set these goals based on your own preferences. For instance, decide which scene you're gonna tackle and any details about it. Maybe you wanna write about what a character wants, or maybe you're figuring out the climax of an argument. Whatever it is, write the problem that you want to solve. The goal could even be as simple as how many words you want to write. This is especially useful if you've been struggling with something specific. Turn your struggle into a single question. For instance, my question would have been, what does this character do that's so bad that this other character beats him up? The reason you do this the night before is because by giving your brain a specific problem to answer, it spends the duration of the sleep figuring out what that answer actually is. And do this by hand, because Writing by hand, it just helps ensure that it gets locked into your brain so that when you wake up, it's the first thing you think of. What's also important about the night before is that you make all the decisions you would normally be making in the morning. So for instance, if you feed your pets, prepare their food the night before, pick out your clothes. And ideally, you could even just write in the clothes you slept in. And if you sleep naked, well, what's wrong with writing naked? Also, buy an alarm clock. You don't want to be using your phone first thing in the morning. Like that just sets a bad tone for the rest of the day. You just want to minimize the gap as much as humanly possible between your eyes opening and you writing. The person I learned this method from, Stephen Kotler, writes all his books using this method. And because of it, he's able to get 3 to 4 hours of writing done every single day. Now, you might have a morning routine already, but getting rid of your current morning routine, no matter what it is actually the key to being able to write every single day. Like maybe you journal, you meditate, take a shower, or some positive psychology hack. But these hacks, they're actually counterproductive. If anything, they just trick you into thinking you're being productive. In reality though, what have you actually accomplished? Like maybe you feel a little clearer for the day or a little less stressed, but you haven't actually gotten any tangible work done, let alone writing. These morning routines are meant to keep you sharp and focused throughout the day, right? Did I say sharp? If doing writing first thing in the morning is the best way to unlock maximum focus, why not just do that? Don't worry though, these morning routine protocols will still be important, just not yet. Maybe you wake up and go straight to work. What then? Well, try waking up earlier. See how it helps. Just do it for one day. I mean, if it ensures you stop procrastinating on your screenplay, isn't it worth it to wake up like an hour or 2 earlier? That way you can get home from work without having to worry about anything else. The key here is that you start writing as soon as you wake up. Like literally, your butt should be in the chair and you should have Final Draft or whatever writing program you use. You should have that open within 60 seconds of opening your eyes. But what do you actually do when you sit down to write? Well, I'm gonna tell you that in a second. But first, you should know when it's time to stop. Otherwise, none of this is even gonna matter. This was a part of Ernest Hemingway's process that I found very interesting. When you're in a true flow state, you're kind of loving every second of it. At least that's how it feels after the fact. In reality, you don't know that you're in a flow state until it's over. You lose all sense of self when you're truly flowing, so you can't really reflect while you're in it. Hemingway would stop writing when he felt most excited about what he was writing. If he was in the middle of writing a single word down, he would just stop. I don't even think he realized this is extremely conducive to a flow state, because the second you notice how excited you are is usually an indication that you're starting to come out of your flow state. You can keep writing a little bit, but the other thing is that this process would allow him to come back to his writing the next day and completely avoid writer's block, because by stopping mid-sentence, or in his case, mid-word, he would just know right where he left off and just pick up. And this would just be a consistent cycle for him every single day. This point usually comes anywhere from like the 1 to honestly 3 hour mark. When you wake up and you start writing, just keep going based off the problem you write down the night before. If you wrote down your problem as a question, just answer it. Literally go, the answer to my question is, and you can literally write anything you want. Like, the answer to my question is completely beyond my scope of knowledge, but I know that if I keep writing, it will come to me because, and then you just keep writing. Within a few minutes, you're gonna think of your answer. Like, I promise, just try it. Just try it. Ideally, you can set aside 2 to 3 hours for this process, but if not, just do it for however much time you have. I wanna highlight one of the biggest lessons I've learned about screenwriting that I will probably remind you of in almost every video that I make. If you wanna be a screenwriter, you need to live by this rule. You can't do anything else. When I first heard this idea, it scared me too, but don't worry, you're not supposed to take it literally. All it means is that with screenwriting, or any creative endeavor for that matter, you need to be doing it every single day. It needs to feel so unfamiliar for you not to write that you can't even go to sleep if you haven't. It doesn't matter how much you write every single day, all that matters is that you write every day. I've been caught in the trap of not writing for months because since I couldn't set aside multiple hours of focused writing, I didn't think it was worth it, but I've come to shift my perspective on it. There is a much larger percentage of people who want to write but don't do it at all than people who are taking any 10 to 15 minute window they can find in a given day and just getting something down on paper. So again, even if this is only 10 to 15 minutes of writing for you, if you're currently at 0 minutes, you can only improve from there. So what about your current morning routine, your cold showers, journaling, yoga? Well, it's quite simple. You do these things after you're writing. See, these are techniques that are more useful as recovery. They're a way to recharge your batteries, not start the engine. Wow, that was a pretty good metaphor. I'm proud of that. But once you've completed about 1 to 3 hours of focused work and you start feeling overwhelmed or again, even excited, take that as your sign to now go do all your biohacking stuff. Because that's how you keep yourself energized so you can tackle all the other tasks for the day. So now you've killed your procrastination for writing, right? But you still don't feel great about writing. I mean, because writing itself, it's an arduous process because writing an entire screenplay can feel very overwhelming. Well, what if I told you the key to feeling more confident when you write lies in this video right here? I said write a lot of times just now.